But this one is a classic. It's another Psikyo game on the Psikyo Shooting Library Volume 1, and it's Strikers 1945. Focus. Do it. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Like I said, this is my third time playing this flipping thing, and I've played this game before. This is kind of like Psikyo's take on Capcom's like 1940X, 1941, 1942, 1944, or whatever. It's their take on that series. And this one on the Switch is one of the more playable ones, and I did get the 1 credit clear on it on the Switch. So I know the game's good and a lot of fun. Spoilers. But I just wanted to play it again here on the PS4 and just kind of compare it. It is better here, by the way. This is like a alternate World War II kind of shooter with mechs that like turn into robots that are from outer space. I don't know. It's very strange. It's weird to think that like Hitler's secret weapon the whole time was like robots. Which is what this game's going for. It plays the same as the other Psikyo games. I've gone over them before. I won't spend a lot of time on it here. If you want to know, you can watch like any of my other beating the backlog videos or games I played recently videos. But the first like 4 stages in every Psikyo game are like randomized, and the last several stages are like set. So if there's 7 stages, which I think there are in this game, the first 4 are randomized. They'll be played in any order, and then the last 3 are always the same. Once again, you have your standard shot, you have your charge shot, and in this one, the charge shots are like much faster and much more useful, and the success of every ship or plane that you pick is really like dependent on how you handle your charge attacks. The ship choices in this are really good. There's lots of like, not historically accurate. They look and they're named after historically accurate planes that are actually used in the time period, although they shoot like giant shurikens and like lightning bolts and stuff. So I usually use like the P-38, which I think was like a standard, I guess it was an English airplane. I don't know, whatever the case. This game also adds some new mechanics which are different, and I guess they're in some of the other Psikyo games, but I'm not sure. But certain bosses and mini bosses will appear based on like where you are on the screen when you show up to them. So like in the next to the last stage or the last stage, there's this one section where like one of 4 different bosses can show up based on like where you are. So if you're like over to the far left, lined up with like the edge of your high score, like the ghost boss will show up. And if you're like 2 inches to the right of that, then like the crab boss will show up. And so on and so forth. And so you have to kind of like manage that and sort of know it. And if you end up the wrong spot, you can like draw or end up with the hardest boss that like will ruin your run, which is strange. It's a neat mechanic, but a little bit too much to keep track of, in my opinion. The game looks awesome. I love the way the Psikyo games look. It has really cool pixel graphics, and the music in this game is some of the best that Psikyo has ever done. There are a couple of tunes that are like bangers and a half, like really good. So that's a nice improvement over what they usually put out, which is usually pretty forgettable and bad. But most of the tracks in this game are like that. They're just forgettable. Nothing to say too great about them. Sorry, guys. A lot of the more annoying issues from the other Psikyo games that came before this, and I think there were only a couple, they're just fixed here. It's the charge shot's faster, the enemy bullet placement makes more sense. You can, the difficulty levels, there's 7 like usual that go from monkey all the way up to like extreme. Monkey's very easy. You can like beat it, 1 credit cleared on your first try usually, all the way up through easy with just a little bit of practice, and it gets really hard. Unlike Sengoku Ace, which I reviewed in my last video, where like it took me 2 weeks to be able to beat it on monkey, and then I was able, or not beat it, but like 1 credit clear it. In case you guys don't know, 1 credit clear it. These are arcade games, by the way, guys. That would be like you put 1 quarter into the arcade machine and beat the game. You never have to put in another quarter. So on the Psikyo games, on the other one that I reviewed, like monkey took me 2 weeks to be able to do that, and then I was able to do it on like the hardest difficulty setting on the same day. So there was no balance. That's not the case with this game. Strikers 1945 is well balanced, and there's like a good ramp up in difficulty to kind of train yourself. But once again, in these collections, there's no training modes, there's no save states. Like if you're struggling on the last boss, you gotta play through the whole freaking game to get some practice in, which is really annoying, and they need to fix that. No modern arcade ports should ever do that. Never. They should never do that. It should always come with training modes and things like that, because we don't have time to spend like, you don't want to play through a game, 250, 300 times to be able to one credit clear it, when the only thing inhibiting you from doing it is like one random part at the end of the game. Really annoying. So Strikers 1945 on the Psikyo collection, how is it? It's one of the best Psikyo games. I really like this game a lot. I've played through it a lot. I've one credit cleared it on several different versions. I think it's great. It's like an 8 out of 10. It's really fun. I like it. You should definitely play that one if you're a shooter fan.